Premier League is back with a bang. VAR causes a stir. PSG are willing to accept a Neymar bid. There's a transfer roundup and a look back at your Friday feels. All coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the Onefootballers and this is the Daily News. But before we start, very quickly, we've got a new feature on today's Daily News and every Monday Daily News called Emoji Mondays. To find out what that's all about, stick around towards the end of the video. So the Premier League was back this weekend and pretty much everything stayed the same. West Ham and Everton underperformed despite having really good squads on paper. Manchester City and Liverpool picked up where they left off with smashing wins, and Aubameyang, Aguero, Sterling and Harry Kane all got on the score sheet. So it seems like not much has changed except for at Manchester United, where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men ran riot and completely ruined Frank Lampard's debut as Chelsea manager. The 4-0 victory was built on a solid defence with new signings Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire having brilliant games, and the new forwards like Daniel James getting on the score sheet after Marcus Rashford did his best. Chelsea were lacking for me in two main points. There was the lack of leadership in David Luiz, who's now gone, and the lack of a talisman, someone to pick up the ball and make things happen in Eden Hazard, who's also gone. It looks like with their summer spending, the fact that they've let two really big players of the squad go is really going to hurt them this season. Yes, I'm delighted that the likes of Barkley, Mount and Abraham were all given starts at Chelsea because it's good for their future and English international future, but it doesn't quite look that Chelsea, on that performance, have got what it takes to challenge the top four. Of course, I'm blowing things all out of proportion because it's the first game of the season and I'm really excited that the Premier League is back, so let's try and not go too crazy just yet, although Chelsea do sit bottom of the table after the first match day. But there were loads of other talking points in the Premier League over the weekend, and of course it was the introduction to the Premier League of VAR, the three dreaded letters. Now what it meant for Nuno Espirito Santo's side meant that Wolves had a goal chalked off and they were denied a victory at Leicester. After the game, he came out and said that VAR would be ruining football, blah, 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 all the same stuff that happens when it goes against you. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We can't have a manager come out and rue VAR every time it just goes against them. I mean, it's no coincidence that when it goes for your team, like it did for Brendan Rodgers, he didn't have too much to say about it. I'm sure later in the season, when Wolves get a great VAR call goes in their direction, Nuno Espirito Santo isn't going to come out and say, oh, VAR is still rubbish, it's just saved my team from losing. No, he's not going to do it. As fans, yes, it is a little bit annoying. Whilst watching the football over the weekend, when Tottenham scored, I was a bit happy and then thought, what if there's something in the build-up that's going to rule it out? That may need to change and the time it takes. But in terms of what it's actually doing for the game, it can only be a positive by picking up on massive errors from the referees. Of course, there are people saying, why don't the referees just get better? You can't put every single decision down to technology, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen, and the presence of a referee in the middle of the pitch is still needed. As for VAR, learn to live with it. Sometimes it's going to be great, sometimes not. But moving on from the Premier League and to Liga, which also returned this weekend, and it returned without Neymar. That's because PSG sporting director Leonardo said that him leaving the club was closer than ever. Neymar, that is. Over the weekend, PSG started their bid for a 9th straight Ligue 1 title with a comfortable 3-0 victory over Nîmes, which saw Kylian Mbappe, Edson Cavani and Angel Di Maria all get on the score sheet, all without Neymar. Now, there were some banners in the stadium from PSG die-hard fans that said, go away Neymar, apparently. That's translated, but it could have been something a lot ruder. Basically, they don't want him in the club because he doesn't want to be there. He said multiple times that he doesn't want to come back to PSG, and it looks as though either Barcelona or Real Madrid are the only ones who can realistically bring him in. A return to Barcelona has looked more likely over the summer, but in the last few weeks there has been talk that Real Madrid are pressing forward with big offers. There was of course that deal that was turned down by PSG for 120 million plus Luka Modric, but in terms of the players' contract, well, Real Madrid is said to be offering around 40 million euros per year. As with the offer from Barcelona, it looks like PSG are only willing to accept Philippe Coutinho and a lot of money, well over 100 million, if they're to sanction this deal. So next up, we come to a roundup of the day's transfer rumours, because of course around Europe teams can still buy players. It's just the Premier League where the transfer window is closed, but that doesn't stop Premier League teams from losing players. Anyway, with today's transfer news, there's a rumour that Rafinha is going to leave Barcelona and head to Valencia. Roma are still interested in Liverpool's Dejan Lovren. Serge Aurier wants to leave Spurs and potentially head back to Liga. And Mesut Ozil's representatives are flying to the States to head to DC over talks for their midfielder. So here we have it, the new feature, and it's Emoji Mondays, where basically we take a popular emoji and plant it over a result or performance from the weekend. First off, for our best player, it goes to Raheem Sterling. A hat-trick on the opening day of the season and an assist to boot in Manchester City's fantastic win. They don't get much better than that. As for the worst player of the weekend, well, it's not exactly the worst player, but he did get sent off, and it's Morgan Schneiderlin of Everton. 2 stupid yellow cards saw him get sent off in their 0-0 draw with Crystal Palace. And lastly but not least, for the result of the weekend, of course, it's Manchester United's thumping 4-0 victory over Chelsea. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves all the plaudits, and a fantastic victory for the Red Devils at Old Trafford. So if you guys want to get involved, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below by picking today's 3 emojis and deciding which bit of the weekend's football corresponds to each one. So lastly but not least, we come to a roundup of your Friday feels. This is where you guys left your predictions on Friday's daily news about all of the weekend's football. First off, and Monaco 0, Lyon 3. That was the prediction from Sol Starling 2002, and they got it exactly right. Says Fabregas also picked up a first half red card in that match. Noah Boswell said that Manchester City, Spurs and Arsenal would all win. And lastly but not least, the brilliantly named Dunkosaurus Twix said that Leicester and Wolves would draw 0-0. So there you have it. Let me know all of your thoughts on the weekend's football and everything in today's daily news. Of course, whilst you're down there, you can smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.